Hello, this is Animation Rundown. Welcome to our recap of the DC movie, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 1. The movie starts off with Bruce Wayne trying to cope with all the free time that he had after his retirement. He then decided to call quits with his Batman person due to the grief that the death of his protege Jason Todd had caused him. After his retirement, the billionaire industrialist has been speeding off in high-speed Formula 1 races despite his old age. In one of these races, he started to speed off limits. Subsequently, his handler told him to stop or else he will be deeply hurt. Yet Bruce did not listen and break the handler and decided to drive the car manually, which resulted in the car rolling over just as Bruce was close to winning the race. His car rolled over and Bruce gained minor burns. As for the state of Gotham City, things were not looking up. The city had been taken over by a very dangerous gang that had power over all people. They liked to call themselves the Mutants. The Mutants were known as the most terrorizing villains to land in the city after the Joker himself. Talking about the Joker, he was currently been catatonic in Arkham Asylum ever since Bruce retired. If you thought things could not turn worse, then you were probably wrong. The city's crimes were at their highest, and James Gordon, who publicly announced that he will be stepping down from his position as the police commissioner next month, gave his promise to the people that he will do what can in his will to fight off the mutants. Other than that, it is also the 10th anniversary of the sighting of Batman. The younger generation shave started to believe that he is only a myth, while others have started dating how he implemented his justice. Bruce and James meet up and start talking about the good old days when Bruce used to be Batman and used to fight for justice, and how much Gotham City has changed in terms of crime. He has been friends with Batman despite not being on terms with Dick Grayson. On his walk back home, Bruce was too caught up in the terrible memory of his parents dying in the hands of a mugger to realize that he was being followed by a few mutants. They had followed him with the intention of robbing him of his belongings, but Bruce easily scared him away. In the meantime, Batman helped Arkham inmate and former district attorney Harvey Dent, that is, Two-Face, to go through plastic surgery to repair his blemished face. Bruce had done this so that he could help him with his redemption arc, but after he was declared sane in a press conference after his surgery, he goes missing. Bruce is catching up with all that has been going on in the city through the news, but his mind is distracted by his haunting memories of the past. How as a child he lost his parents due to the muggers and decided to become Batman. Seeing the sickening and gruesome state of Gotham City, Batman decides to go back into action once again. In a second he was there, and in another second he was somewhere else. Batman started beating up, defeating and reporting the crimes of the mutants as fast and as much as he could. People quickly started reporting sights of the presence of the bat-like creature all over the city. Some called the bat a wild animal and others called it a flying monster, but those who knew that Batman was real knew who this bat was and what it was here for. As for Batman, even though he was able to save people such as Carrie Kelly, he still struggled with the limitations that come with aging. Things did not go well for Batman, even when his therapist Bartholomew Wolper put the blame on Batman and said that it was his own fault for making so many enemies of his own. One of the robbers that Batman had recently captured come into the police station with a complaint. He came to the police commissioner for being punished and convicted falsely for a crime that he had not even committed. Due to the gruesome behavior of a vigilante and the lack of evidence and witnesses, the convicted robber's lawyer demands that his client be set free from prison at once. Surprisingly, Gordon accepts the approval. But little do you know, Batman was waiting for him and started following the robber to a building where the robber was supposedly going to meet Two-Face. Batman tries to get any information that he can get out of the robber by threatening him to do so. Meanwhile, the police commissioner was informed by his subordinates that 2 helicopters that were possessed by them were stolen. For them, this had Two-Face written all over it. James and Batman meet up and start exchanging the information that they had gained over the course of the day. Batman informed James that whatever Two-Face was planning to do, he was going to do it tomorrow, which meant that they had little to no time to make things right. Putting 2 and 2 together due to the theft of the helicopters, Batman felt that Two-Face's plan had to do with something like attacking the Gotham City Tower. Batman waits for the arrival of Two-Face and his men, and was weaponized with his harpoon ready to take them one-on-one. At the same time, Two-Face hijacks all the TV stations and starts his threat towards the government. He threatens them by saying that there are 2 bombs attached to the Gotham City Tower, and the impact of it will be quite treacherous if he isn't paid $22 million within the span of 22 minutes. While Two-Face is comfortably sitting in the helicopter that is guarded by armed soldiers outside of it, Batman decides to make his first move. He throws smoke grenades where the armed people were standing and easily knocked them off with a punch or two. Imagine how fit you must be to be able to do so in such an old age. When Batman takes a closer look at the bomb situated in the helicopter, he sees that it had already started and there were only 2 minutes left until it blew up. He speculated that Two-Face was planning to take his own life while also taking the lives of hundreds along with him that night. He stopped the first Bobby, freezing its core, and rushed to the second one. Two-Face and his men see Batman approaching the other tower, and he orders his men to shoot. Losing his balance, Batman starts to fall, and in a failed attempt to use his harpoon to save himself, he also drags down Two-Face with him as well. Fortunately, Batman saves himself and Two-Face by crashing the window of a building and rolling into a room. Two-Face shows him that the surgery was botched, and no one could change what he had become now. Now that Batman is officially back, he has also sparked a lot of gossips. Many celebrate his return, saying that his return was the rebirth of the American soul, while others had to defer and said that Batman only focused on vengeance and vigilance. In the meantime, Gordon is out and about the town buying the supplies and goods that his missus told him to bring after he is done with work. In one of the shops, he is followed by a mutant and is ambushed. Luckily, Gordon survives the encounter by shooting the mutant in defense. The mutants have not stopped their treachery yet. A 2-year-old who was also the heir of Riley Fortune was kidnapped by mutants, who asked for a heavy sum as ransom. Batman arrived just in time and defeated them. He spots a lot of combat weapons and wonders where in the world did they get all of these. On being interrogated, one of the mutants revealed to him that an army general was giving them weapons in return for a big payment, so he could pay for his wife's treatment. Batman goes to the military general and tells him the consequences of his action. Realizing the grave mistake he had made, the general committed suicide right after Batman walked away. Batman was too busy getting inside his tank-like Batmobile on his way to interrupt the party of the mutants. With the help of his Batmobile, all of the mutants were down on the ground except for the mutant leader. He mocked Batman for being a coward and hiding inside his automobile. Given his big ego, Batman could not be called a coward, and he stepped outside of the tank. Due to Batman's old age, the leader overpowered him easily and thrashed him to the ground. This is where Carrie Kelly, who was in his Robin outfit, saves Batman right in time. When they were inside the Batmobile, Batman declares him as his newest protege despite the protests from his butler. As the newest activity of Batman, more debate on him sparked all around the media, but fear ensues in the minds of people when the leader declared in a TV broadcast that his army is on its way to conquer Gotham City. The government evilly throws Batman and James under the bus and puts all the blame on them and replaced James with Captain Alan Laerdale. In the process of trying to negotiate with the mutant leader, the mayor died. In the same interval, Batman prepares for the mutants' uprising while sending Kelly, disguised as a mutant, to lure them to a sewer outlet at the West River. At the end of the day, Batman overpowers the leader with brilliance, and the mutants divide into subgroups, one of them being the Sons of Batman. The city was in high spirits due to Batman's victory, and they were inspired to stand up against crime. At the same time, in Arkham Asylum, the repeated television reports of Batman finally bring Joker out of his catatonic state. The end. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Animation Rundown.